Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Flights. My name is Lazerbolt. I am going to be your flight lead tonight. I'm the host of the show here, and we're hanging out tonight with our buddy Wingnut Bob and Control Freak. We're trying a new aircraft out tonight. We're doing the Cessna C408 Skycourier. It's a pretty nice little airplane. This will be the first time that we've flown it in a group flight, and it's pretty nice. I like it. I still have a few things I need to get used to, but it's nice. Like our buddy Wingnut Bob says, it's a Cadillac. It's quite a nice little airplane. Tonight we are flying along the western coast of Italy. We're going to take off tonight, and our first stop is actually going to be Rome. So before we take a landing at Rome, we're going to go ahead and check out the city a little bit and check out the Colosseum and all the other great sights that you can see around there. And that should be a good time. And then we're going to continue south down the west coast. You can see here the interior of this airplane is pretty nice. I like it a lot. Look at this. Got a passenger version of it going on. We've got all kinds of fancy seats back here. You can carry a whole bunch of VIPs to where they're going. It has a very nice electronic cockpit up front here, glass panels all across, and everything is really nice. I like this bird a lot, so it should be a good time. Anyway, guys, sit back and enjoy the flight. We're going to be taking off in about 3 minutes. So, yeah, welcome to Friday Night Flights. Say, Bob, I went ahead this week and I bought that Dirty 30, and gotta say, I love it. It needs a lot of work, but I love it.
Oh, good. That's glad to hear it. Yeah, it's flying a lot better than it did when I first got it. But yeah, they do have a lot of work to do. But
Yep.
it's fun to mess. It's fun to mess with it. I don't know anything about avionics yet. I'm and their navigation. I still got a lot to learn on that, but it just
Yep.
takes time, I guess.
Yeah, I did kind of the same. I just took off and did a lap around the airport and landed a couple times and just got used to everything. Controls all seemed to work fine on it. I was kind of messing with the autopilot a little bit. I'm not sure if it's my setup or the autopilot needs a little work, but I think the autopilot needs a little work.
I
Not
do
all of
too.
it, but some of it. And yeah, like I said, I'm excited for them to keep working on it. It's going to be a nice airplane.
Well, I'm glad you was able to pick it up.
Yeah, me too. I've actually been hearing about this airplane for a long time, and it's finally seen some daylight. So, guys, we're going to be taking off in about maybe a minute and a half here. We don't need to go any higher than about 5,000 feet. That should do it, because we're going to be mostly along the coast. There are some mountainous regions here in Italy, but we're going to be flying along the coast for the most part. So on this first leg, we're going to take off and climb to 5,000. We're going to try to maintain a 160 knots indicated. 160 knots indicated. I see our buddy Brennan is here already. Page Turner's there or not. It's good to see you, buddy. I'm happy that you're here every week. You're always the first person to say hi. Brennan's a great guy. He's got a great podcast, too, if you like the nerdy kind of stuff. Talks a lot of Star Wars and Star Trek and Dune and Lord of the Rings. Just pretty much you name it. He's got a great little podcast there. He does it at least once a week, I've noticed. And very interesting topics, and he's very knowledgeable. So, yeah, if you guys like that kind of stuff, and I do, check him out. It's called Page Turners There or Not, and it's hosted by Brennan Marr. All right, guys, 15 seconds, and we're going to roll out of here. Let me know if you need more time.
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Alrighty, gentlemen, let's spool these birds up and roll out of here. Climb to 5,000 feet. The laser bolt is rolling.
Rolling.
these birds are a little slow on takeoff roll, but they cruise really nice.
Yeah, it has a relatively slow roll speed too. I mean, you can pull that nose up without having to go too awful fast. Yep, it's like our buddy Bob says, this airplane is like a Cadillac. It is absolutely got all the bells and whistles, and you can tell it's a very modern aircraft. I love it. I haven't flown it a whole lot yet, but I've flown it a little bit, a couple hours during the week just to get used to it before the flight here. And I think this airplane is going to make a great addition to our fleet.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in checking out this aircraft or any other aircraft, you can get the game on GamePass. It's a really good way if you'd like to join us, and we'd love to have you. You can join us here. We fly every Friday at 9 o'clock this time here. And yeah, you can get the game on Game Pass, and all the information for the flight is in the information for the YouTube page here, the description, that's what it's called. And yeah, if anybody grabbed it, we would love to have you. I see our buddy Captain Hopper stopped in to say hi. It's good to see you, buddy. Captain Hopper was streaming over on Twitch earlier, and last I saw he was playing some tanks, and that looks like a lot of fun. And yeah, I haven't played that game in a long time, but if anybody wants to see a fun stream, go check out Captain Hopper's Twitch over there. And it's spelled just like it is in the chat here, C-A-P-T, Hopper. And yeah, he's a great guy, very entertaining, and he plays a lot of fun games. See if I can get this autopilot here. We don't have any movies tonight, Captain Hopper, but we just got off the ground, actually, just a minute ago. How was the stream going tonight? I had to leave early. I didn't see the end of it, but looked like you were having a good time. One thing that's a little unusual for this aircraft, especially for the ones we normally fly, is it doesn't have retractable gear. These gear are out all the time. It's no big deal,
True.
but I'm just used to putting them gear up all the time, but not tonight. Pull my speed back here a little bit. Like I said, we're going to try to maintain around a 160 knots indicated. Even before we get to our first airport, we're going to be flying over Rome. So when we get there, of course, we're going to check it all out. It looks pretty nice. We have been to Rome before. It's been a couple years. But yeah, we have a nice airplane this time, and we can stop and check out all the sites. There are a couple points of interest that I marked that our flight plan will take us directly over. One of them is the Colosseum. Looking forward to doing that. So when we get to Rome, we'll just do a little lap around the city and check out all the cool stuff and see what it's all about. Yeah, Captain Hopper, it has been a long, hot day, hasn't it? Although it's nice and cool around here. It's maybe 72 degrees. It's not cold or anything like that, but it's way better than 92 degrees. Huh? Kind of weather you got going on there where you're at, Bob? You been pretty cool lately, or getting hot?
It's been like between 95 and 98 all week down here in Tennessee. Today we had some storms come through, and it dropped down to 75 and or 76 and 77, and that felt like heaven for a while.
Cool it right down for it.
Yeah, we've been borderline near 100, and that's unusual for Tennessee.
Well, you said about a week ago or two, it was you guys were getting like 60 something degrees. That must have been nice.
Yeah, it was.
I really wish you could get rid of these co-pilots. They're just creepy. I don't like this guy at all. Every time I look over, it startles me.
I turned mine off.
You can turn that off?
Yep.
Well, I need to look a little closer and find that setting.
I think, if I remember, it's been a while since I've done it, but I think it was where, you know, how you can adjust your character, whether what he wears and what he looks like. I think it was in that area.
Right on. Yeah, that's right. A lot of that stuff you can't even mess with unless you're in the main menu.
Right.
Well, Bob is the one that recommended this aircraft. He says I'd probably like it, this 408 Skycourier, and he was right. I love it. This is a great airplane.
You're 2 miles off my left wing. Are you locking on to the thing, or are we taking a different?
No, I couldn't lock onto the line. I just went ahead and I'm just following by heading bug. I'm
Okay.
sure all there is there's a button, probably like a GPS nav button that I need to push in the
There
cockpit.
is. Yeah.
What would that
it's
be?
up on the main dash in front of you, up high on the center dash.
Yeah. See an approach hold, a back course, flight director.
You got heading, approach, and nav. And if you click on nav, if you're close enough to the line, it should lock onto it.
Right on. Yeah, I've got a nav button on my home cockpit, but it doesn't seem to be doing what it's supposed to. It's working now, though, as long as I use the one in the cockpit. And as soon as I click the one in the cockpit, the one on my home cockpit actually lights up like it's working. So, anyway, it's working.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I wasn't too far from the red line, though. I mean, I was pretty much basically right on it. It didn't have to adjust me hardly at all. I wonder if your flight plan gave you a departure procedure that took you a couple miles out?
That's the second thing I was wondering. Maybe, yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, I on the original flight plan, the one that you can download from Discord there, I removed the departure procedure and the arrival procedure. But sometimes it just adds it right back. So I don't know. Even before I start flying, I always check my EFB there to see if it's gives me a departure. If not, I just go in and I tell it just go direct from airport to airport. I have been using the new Flight Sim 24 for creating the flight plans, though, and that's kind of new. I've been using 2020 to create all these flight plans just because it's easier and it works better than the 2024 flight planner. And I know they've got that online one too, but that works even worse for me. But yeah, it works pretty good. The one thing I don't like is at first I didn't think that it even showed you the POI markers, which that's one of the things that we love to do around here. We fly around and we check out all the cool points of interest of wherever we're at. But I realize it actually does show you the POI markers, but get this. You have to zoom in to a half mile for them to show up on the map. A half mile. You have to zoom in on the map to a half a mile, which is ridiculously close. You can see people's faces. You know, you have to
Yeah, I
zoom
know
in
what you
to a
mean.
half mile before they show up. And that don't make it easy to plan a flight around those, you know. Although, it's been a couple weeks that I've been using the new flight planner, and I think one more week and I'll feel comfortable to just completely delete 2020 altogether. Not that I don't like 2020, I love 2020, but it's like 160 gigs, probably more than that. I could use that space, and I really need to get rid of it. The other thing I don't like about it is when you're creating the flight plan, I have to pay close attention to the distances because I don't want to go over 2 to 2.5 hours. I don't want it to be a 5-hour flight, and I don't want it to be a 1-hour flight. So I have to pay attention to the distances. And when you're creating a flight plan in 2024, all it tells you is the distance from the first airport to the last airport. If you have any waypoints in between, it doesn't figure those in. It just says, okay, it's a 200-mile flight plan. Well, it's actually closer to a 300-mile flight plan because I've added a couple stops, you know. So yeah, it's not the best flight planner. So hopefully everybody had a good week, made it to Friday and everything.
Oh yeah, no problems.
This thing wants to go fast, doesn't it? Every time I put it down to like 160, it slowly creeps back up to 170. I didn't check, but this thing probably doesn't have a speed hold, does it? An auto throttle?
I don't think so. I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. It's kind of a small aircraft to have something like that. But it is a turbo, so often they do. I noticed that Dirty 30 has a speed hold. It doesn't seem to work at the moment, or at least I couldn't get it to work, but that's always nice, especially in Hercules. It's the same thing with the Hercules. You think you're going nice and steady, and then you check your speed and you're going way too fast, you know?
Yeah. But this one does have a reverse thrust on it.
Yeah, it's always handy. I love that. Have you experimented enough to know what size runways you can get in and out of? What is this rated for? Like, is a 3,000 runway too much, or is a 4,000 just right? I'm assuming it's somewhere in between that, but I'm not sure.
It'll stop a lot faster than it takes off, it seems like. I'm not sure what I don't know what the rating is.
I always thought Italy looks so nice. It's very nice from the air. There's a lot of water nearby. There's mountains and hills, and just a lot of classic looking cities. It's a very beautiful place to fly over.
You know, I don't think I've done any flights in flight sim in Italy since I've been on it.
Oh,
I believe this will be the first time.
all right on.
We should check out the Vatican when we get to Rome then.
Absolutely, yeah. I plan on spending some time there flying around. I'm not sure if I've caught eye of the Vatican, but we have been here before. It's been, well, we've been flying for 14 years. We've been a little bit everywhere, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, you have. I haven't been flying with you for what, maybe 6-7 months or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It probably close to, yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah, the manual for that Dirty 30 is insane, man. It was like Longhorn was saying, it's like a 70-page manual. Covers everything. It covers things that the aircraft doesn't even do yet. It's not even fixed.
If you can understand the terminology in it.
Yeah, it's very technical. It's another one of those aircraft, though, that I'm kind of glad that I have my home cockpit, because a lot of the stuff that I can do on my home cockpit, I don't even have to look in the cockpit to see where the button is. And actually, in the Captain Sim C130, most of my home cockpit didn't work at all. It's almost like they did that on purpose. So you would have to use the in-game cockpit. You know, for instance, like to turn on and off your autopilot and your heading hold and your altitude hold and all that. You have to literally go to the right side of your armrest and down below just to flick these little switches that are hard to find. And at least with the Dirty 30, I can use my home cockpit, my Logitech panel.
Good. There's a sailing ship down below me there with the 4 masts and big sails on it.
Is that the Isla del Gigolo? Giglio?
It looks like it says Zazu something. I can't read it now. Might be more than one there.
Right on. I got a whole bunch of ships down here in the harbor. Some of them have funny names. I seen one of them back there at the airport we took off from. It was called Mickey Mouse's X. It was a pretty funny name.
Control Freak, I'm seeing you on a Cessna 208 with floats. Is that an accurate description of what you're actually in?
No, it isn't. I don't know why that is. When I picked the cargo variant, I guess, for some reason others see me with floats, but I have fixed gear.
Oh, okay.
That's weird. Yeah, I see you with the floats too. It even says you got floats. Weird. Alrighty, about 60 miles and we're going to be at our first POI, which is just at the outskirts of Rome. To the north, some kind of Olympic stadium. At least that's what I'm guessing. It's the Olympic Stadio. After that, we're going to check out. There were so many POIs in Rome that I couldn't mark them all. So I just marked a couple of the big ones. We're definitely going to check out the Colosseum. And Control Freak recommended check out the Vatican. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail there. I've seen it, and the basilica itself is adorned with statues across the front, and then there's this big round area that's the outer circumference of the circular area has statues all along. They're all very detailed.
I think I can picture it from that movie, The Da Vinci Code. They were in that big courtyard.
I'm sharing my screen in Discord, by the way, if you want to see how my airplane actually looks.
Is it one of these 408s, or is it something different?
It's a Caravan 208. I've been struggling with my sim all day, and I didn't have time to set up another plane. I was trying to decide if I was even going to join.
Well, that Caravan, that's something that you usually fly that, don't you? Maybe not this version of it, but you like that Caravan a lot.
Well, I've got it set up, and I haven't set up any other planes other than the 172.
Well, that Caravan is pretty similar to what we're actually in here in this 408.
Yeah, I thought so, and
Yep.
it can do 160.
Yeah.
Yep,
I like
they look
Caravans
similar too.
Yeah, they look a lot alike.
Similar jobs they get put to.
Yeah, I always like that Caravan. I've got one in my cargo company in the game here, and it's pretty nice. Just anything with turbo is such a big step above the piston pounders, you know.
Yeah, and the reversers let you do some pretty close to STOL. You can keep up with the bushwhackers pretty well.
It's a little hard to believe we're exactly a week away from 4th of July already. Holy moly, that came by quick. Well, it didn't help that it just finally feels like summer here in Michigan. Finally, for the last week. Seen a couple POIs off there to the left. Who knows what it is? There's all kinds of them here in Italy. Very historic place.
For the Vatican, I think if you go to the Colosseum, you got a waypoint right on it there. Just follow the river north, and Vatican's on the left side.
Right on. I'm sure it'll have a POI marker. That'll be helpful.
Yeah, I think it's St. Peter's Basilica, so it would be the Italian version of that. It's going to be like Basilica di San Pietro or something like that.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I think I actually saw that when I was making the flight plan. Wasn't sure what that was.
It's the Vatican. It's one of the most detailed models I've seen anywhere in this sim.
Yeah, in about another 20 miles or so, I'm going to drop my altitude down and reduce my speed, and we'll get ready for those POIs. We are currently, let's see, about 49 miles out. So yeah, another maybe 20 miles or so, and I'll drop her down.
I actually just reinstalled from scratch today, so you can imagine what I've been doing today.
Oh boy.
Had to redo all your controls.
Uh-huh.
That's the fun part right there. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how, but my sim got into this weird state where I couldn't navigate the menus, the user interface. Somehow the joystick got control, but only partially, and the mouse was completely useless. So I had no way to reconfigure anything, and had wound up doing a uninstall, reinstall the Xbox app.
As big of a pain in the ass as that is, I'm glad it actually fixed your problem.
It did. I'm back to pretty close to back to usual, but I'm finding some little anomalies here and there. And
Right.
I joined the group flight today because I wanted to see if I could. I joined the official fly-in at 2 o'clock my time this afternoon, and it was a stutter fest for some reason.
Really? Everything's kind of fine now, though, huh?
Yeah, well, I was wondering if it was just the large group flight that was causing the problem, or, so I figured I'd join you guys because I knew you had a smaller group usually. And it seems to be working fine in here, so it must have been that large number of, other players.
That could be. I was flying with a group from Texas a couple weekends ago, and when we all came into the same airport, 3 of us had a CTD crash to the desktop right there, all at the same time.
Wow.
I mean, it happened to me twice. It happened to one of the other guys like 3 or 4 times. Just kept crashing.
I can imagine it might have something to do with which aircraft you're flying too. You know, how much information it has to send back and forth between each one. Plus, I'm not sure how they do multiplayer. They used to do multiplayer like in FSX. They did it where any aircraft that you would see was basically a low resolution version of the actual aircraft, so it didn't hit your system that hard. I don't know, in the new sim it might just show you the full airplane, which that could hit it real hard if there's more than a handful of airplanes.
Oh, it was a new problem for me because I had flown with large groups multiple times with 24 before today, but today it was just a stutterfest, unusable.
Well, hopefully that's not an ongoing issue for you.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I'm going to go ahead and drop this bird down to about, I don't know, 2,500. I can see our POIs popping up in the distance over there. We're heading right at them. So I'm going to bring her down 2,500.
25.
Going down.
Oh, I'm looking at these hills up ahead. I'm not sure 2,500 is going to be enough. We'll see. I haven't tried to do a nice tight orbit around something yet with this aircraft. Does it have a decent turn radius, or am I going to fall out of the sky?
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
there you
gonna give it at least one notch of flaps just to try to help. Looks like I'm going to make this mountain, but just barely. And yeah, Bob, you've mentioned the like the bugs and stuff, and that end up on your windscreen, how that works. I think that's an airplane by airplane thing. That when they make the aircraft, they they choose what textures. Over time, it changes the texture of your glass, so it gets dirtier and dirtier. And some aircraft show it more than others, and this is one of them. This one, after flying it around just a little bit, maybe an hour the other night, my windscreen was just filthy.
Yeah, I come to that same conclusion because I was flying others and I didn't have that issue except for this one. I think you're right. It's designed into the plane. The only thing I couldn't figure out is how I was getting so many bugs at 9,000 feet the last time we flew.
There's super bugs up there. Yeah, my windscreen's already getting kind of dirty. This airplane doesn't look like it's got wipers either. Look at that, all kinds of houses up here in the hills. I bet you these are the expensive houses.
Bunch of weird antennas over on the right wing. Or towers, I mean.
Yeah, I suppose this is one of the taller areas in the neighborhood, so this is where they put them, I guess. Not very close to town, though. Those are probably unrelated to Rome. Yeah, we're still 26 miles out. Our first stop is going to be a little airport called LIRA, Lima, India, Romeo, Juliet, or Romeo, what is it here? Yeah, it will be LIRA, just like the Italian money, Lima, India, Romeo, Alpha. So yeah, count on that. I'm not sure exactly what runway we're going to be ending up pointing at. There's one that's kind of generally north and south. After we check out the city, we'll just find whichever one's closest and we'll make that.
flying over air base right here.
Nice. Is it like Italian Air Force or something, or maybe an Army base?
I think Bracciano Air Base, something like that.
Cool.
Must be just a grass runways though.
Yeah, Italy is one of the places I visited as a kid when I lived in Europe. I lived in Germany when I was younger. And yeah, Italy was one of the places we took a little vacation to. We went camping in Italy, actually. It was cool. We went spent some time in Pisa. Saw that old Leaning Tower and all that kind of stuff. Say, I just noticed we haven't had a pop-in yet from our buddy Coast. Hopefully everything's going good with him. I know he's probably having computer problems. Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't been able to fly with us for the last couple weeks because his computer's acting up on him, but it's still always nice to see him. Pop into Discord and say hey.
Yeah, I thought he might, but you never know. He might still pop in and say hey.
You never know. I was kind of hoping he'd be here for one reason is I think last year Coast and his wife went on vacation. I think they went to Italy, among other places. Yeah, just a little runway information for Ciampino, which is where we're going to be landing, Lima, India, Romeo, Alpha. They got a runway 15 and a runway 33. It recommends runway 33 for me, but I've only got a 5-knot wind. That's not too bad. So there's a good chance we're going to be landing runway 33.
Okay.
Let's see here. We are looking at a 7,200 foot of asphalt. Plenty big enough. Not much elevation, about 400 feet, so yeah, real good. Count on that, runway 33. That might change to runway 15 depending on what's going on when we get done checking out the city. But at least we have a nice long runway. Should be easy to find, easy to land. Now the first POI on our list here is the Stadio Olimpico. It's weird, I have a whole bunch of POIs that only show up when I look at it kind of sideways. If I look at it straight on, they disappear. I got about 5 or 6 of them that don't disappear, but a whole mess of them off to the right disappear when I'm... It's almost like quantum physics. When I'm not looking, there they are.
Yeah, I see them. I don't see a name on anything yet, but
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about too, the way they like disappear when you look at them.
Yeah, as long as I've got my screen kind of tilted sideways here, I can see them at the very corner. But when I look straight at them, they're gone. It's weird because it's not all of them.
There's dozens of them popping in for me now.
Yeah, this entire city is a point of interest. There's a lot of cool stuff here to see. So yeah, we'll just kind of take our time and check out everything as good as we can. We'll see what kind of a good turn radius we can get on these birds and see if they're good for points of interest. But we're not going to run out of stuff to see. A bunch of them just popped in. Like we got the Basilica di San Pietro.
That's the Vatican.
That's the Vatican. That's what I was hoping it was. Yeah, it's cool. As we make our way,
take a close look.
Make our way through those, we'll be hitting that.
Yeah, that one will surprise you. The closer you get, the more detail you see.
This here Stadio Olimpico is pretty big. Definitely a modern stadium. I guess they probably built it back in the day for some Olympics or something. I'm going to go ahead and do a little circuit around here and check it out real good. Looks like they've got it all set up for a soccer game right now. And we got the National Museum. I wonder how many times Tom Hanks was there in that movie. Well, I'm not having any trouble doing a circuit around this. I'm not falling out of the sky, so I like that. I'm going to head back over here to this gigantic cluster of points of interest and see if I can spot a couple cool ones.
Did a good job on the stadium there.
I'm on your 6.
500.
Boy, it always makes me wonder what it's like down on street level for some of these densely packed cities like this, where you got the old style cities and the old style streets and everything's really close together and it's not designed for car traffic, you know. It's can get pretty congested down there.
Airplane's yelling at me. I'm at 500, 500.
Yeah, this thing likes to tell you what's going on, doesn't it? When you're coming in, you got to be on your toes, or it starts complaining. Yeah, I'm down here checking out the Vatican right now. That is pretty fancy looking. I love that big square they got, the big circular town square. The building itself is amazing. I'm going to have to find the Colosseum here. There's so many name tags I couldn't quite see what I'm looking for.
Just follow the river.
Oh yeah, I see it.
What's
I
that?
don't see the name tag, but I definitely see it. Control freak, you must be right over it, huh?
I see. That's that big white-looking building with the horse and statues in front of it.
It's the monument of something or other. And there is the Colosseum. Very nice, very nice. Looks a little bit older than it did in the movie Gladiator. It's quite big though, isn't it? Holy moly, that's very large. A lot of times when you go to see something like this and you're surprised how small it is, but that is very big. Got a gigantic train station down here. Well, this bird is very nice and stable when you're doing a circuit like this. I like it.
Yeah, handling well.
Yeah, handles well. It doesn't go too fast. It's very nice for sightseeing.
Oh, you freaked me out there, control freak. You flew right over me.
Don't freak out.
Right outside the Colosseum, we got the Arc of Constantine, the Arch. Pretty fancy. Alright, I'm going to make one more circuit around these POIs and get a good gawk at everything. And then we're going to head off to Ciampino, which is our first stop. Looks like our first airport is going to be runway 15, because we are just to the northwest of that. So runway 15 would be perfect for us coming in. Count on that. It's about 7,200 feet of asphalt. We're still a few miles away from it, so we should be able to line up quite nicely. I didn't realize there's an airport right here in the middle of town. Look at that. There's probably airports all over the place, actually. It is actually kind of nice to look around at this ancient-ass city. It's still huge, still way huge population, and it doesn't have any skyscrapers. It's still just all the old-fashioned buildings. There's no like downtown district, with a, giant 120-story building or nothing. It all looks pretty old-fashioned-y. Normally, even an old European city like this would have some kind of a nice modern downtown, but not Rome. Alrighty, Lazerbolt is making final for runway 15 at I wonder how much dirtier this windscreen can get, because it's pretty dirty right now.
Let me get a picture of this monument here real quick.
It'll last longer. Lazerbolt's on 2.5 mile final, runway 15.
Man, I'm down here with a drone. You ain't gonna believe what I'm hearing.
What do you got?
Sirens.
Oh, really? Really?
I'm down on street level with a drone and I hear sirens going by.
Geez, I wonder if there's an actual emergency vehicle anywhere nearby. I kind of doubt it, but maybe that's just the sound they used for that.
Now I hear brakes screeching and everything. That's
Oh, no.
crazy. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, me too not. Yeah, I do like this bird though. This is a pretty nice airplane. Especially for just a default aircraft, you know. Oh God, for a second I panicked there and thought I forgot my gear.
Take a little bit of getting used to, huh?
Yep, I know I didn't put them out, but there they are. Lazerbolt is clear to the left, back taxiing 15.
I'm inbound.
It's weird, I don't know if I've ever seen a taxiway that had big X's on it, like you're not supposed to use it. Plenty of runways, but not a taxiway. Pull up here and get a front row seat to Wingnut Bob's landing. No pressure, buddy. Well, you got her down.
Wasn't pretty, but I got it down.
It's only one bounce. They won't even charge you twice for that landing. Alright guys, let's pull back out onto runway 15 and we'll be taking off very shortly.
Copy 15.
That was a nice first leg. Usually when we have a POI it tends to end up at the end of the flight plan, but this time we got to check it out early.
Alrighty, I'm lined up right behind you.
Right on, buddy. We're going to be taking off in about 30 seconds. Alrighty, gentlemen, let's go ahead and take off out of here. I think we can do what we did last time. 5,000 feet should be just fine. We're just flying down the coast. There's not too much elevation around here. So let's climb 5,000 feet and try to maintain 160. Lazerbolt is spooling up and rolling. We do got some hills coming up, so be mindful of that. Make sure you climb quick enough to get over them. Of course, our flight plan is taking us directly over the tallest peak. Look at this big crater lake looking thing, huh? You got more of those towers over here, Bob, just like as we're coming into town.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Might just be relays or something, you know, since this is the tallest part. You can relay this stuff on the other side of the mountain. And my windscreen is absolutely filthy.
Yeah, mine too.
So I'm looking at these mountains up ahead. I don't want to hit any of those. Why don't we go up to about 7,000? We've got plenty of distance to get to our airport, but 7,000 feet should get us over all of this. I think we're probably good already, but just in case, 7,000. Yep, I'm still trying to figure out a good time and a place to go take my RV camping. I don't think this weekend would be a good time to go camping anywhere, being that it's 4th of July. I want my camping experience to be a little more relaxing than that. But yeah, one of these days soon, we'll be heading out. I've got my RV all set up so I can fly and host a flight even from there. So we won't miss a night or anything like that. One of these days soon, I am going to be on the road.
Yeah, I wish I had one. I could do that.
I love it. I didn't even realize that I wanted one until I had it. And my original plan for the RV was I got it for a really good deal. It was my uncle's, and the state took his license away, and so he couldn't use it anymore. He was actually living out of it, so it was kind of a mess, you know. So he lived like a slob. He kept really good care of the vehicle itself and everything like that, but he lived like a slob. He lived out of the thing, so you know, it was a pretty big mess. But my original plan was I got it for such a good deal. I figured, well, I'll just buy it off of him and fix it up. It didn't really need much fixing up, but it needed a lot of cleaning, you know. So I spent like a good month cleaning it and just trying to get all the, you know how it is. An old weird guy that's traveling across the country in his RV. There's some stuff in there that you don't even want to open that box. You know what I mean? I don't know what's in those jars, but I'm throwing them out. You know, it was just one of those situations. It was kind of gross. But that was my plan. I was gonna fix it up and then sell it. I made the mistake of taking it out a couple times after I cleaned it up, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love this thing. This is the best. I want it."
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Now I want to do anything I can to avoid selling it. Well, you know how stuff like that is too, to where I couldn't sell it for enough money to make it worth what it's worth to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I enjoy it so much, and I put so much into it to get it to where to the state of it is. Nobody would pay me enough money. You know, it's not worth that much money on the market. It's worth much more than that to me. You know, I mean, if I couldn't sell it for enough money to turn right around and buy another one, I'm not selling it. And it's not worth that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So instead of trying to make a quick buck by turning it over and selling it, I'm just going to count my blessings that I got a really cheap RV that's awesome.
Well, I never had one. My cousin had one, a nice RV, and I used to go with him all the time, fishing and camping, and we'd take it to NASCAR races.
Oh, that's perfect for
Had a
that.
blast.
Go to the infield.
Well, we went to Talladega a lot, so we would go up on Cheehaw Mountain State Park, and it was beautiful up there, cooking out and hanging out until the race day.
Yeah, I need to start going down the list of all the Army Corps of Engineer campgrounds because that's where I like to stay. Those are usually relatively cheap. They're kind of out in the boondocks because they're usually on some kind of a waterway. Well, they're always on a waterway. The Army Corps of Engineers are in charge of maintaining America's waterways, and they also, in certain places, they open up campgrounds that helps pay for everything. And yeah, there's usually pretty nice secluded campgrounds too. The last one I was at in Arkansas was just beautiful. It was on a lake out in the middle of the woods, and actually the lake was a big reservoir from a dam that, of course, the Army Corps of Engineers was in charge of keeping that stable and all that. And it was just a great place to camp. I loved it, and I'm gonna check out a couple more this year.
I've never thought about doing that before.
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure if you had to be military to even take advantage of that, or family of military, which I am. My father was an Army helicopter pilot, so I mean I could prove I'm the family of military. But no, they're actually open to everybody. Being up in these clouds is making me a little bit nervous. I can't see the hillsides. I know I'm over the top of them, but they're closer than I like.
Control freak down there flying at treetop level, it looks like.
Yeah, it's getting a little mountainous around here. Of course, if you stay over to the left, you'll be on the coast a little more. Anybody know, does Italy still use the lira, or are they one of the ones that switched over to using the euro?
No idea.
Nope, me neither.
Oh my god, my windscreen is just awful. I didn't think it could get much worse, but it keeps getting worse.
Guess they wanted to give you that realism.
Tell you what. I just wonder if this airplane did have wipers, would it actually wipe that stuff off? I'd be amazed if it did. That would be a cool effect.
Probably smear it.
It'd probably
Even
smear
worse.
it. Am I going too fast? You guys keep falling way behind.
I'm on 170.
158.
Maybe it's the weather I've got. I've got a different airspeed than you guys have, different wind speeds.
Ground speed's 173.
And my ground's 183. That explains it.
There he is.
Was
Hey, Coast. Greetings, buddy. Happy Friday. It's good to see you and hear you.
I sorry to be late. I was engulfed in other things these days.
Right on. Right on. I'm just happy to see your smiling name tag.
Well, my name tag doesn't smile. I was actually going through some old MS Flight's media YouTube videos, which were very interesting. They're all about 12 years ago.
Yeah, I think back then Wingnut was kind of in charge of all that, if I'm not mistaken.
Wingnut?
Was it Wingnut?
Wingman.
Wingman.
Oh, Wingman Tingley did all that. Okay, right.
Yeah, we have a problem between when they start with the word wing, we all get lost. You know, our attention span just falls off after ing.
Well, just remember I'm the nut and the other one's a man, I guess.
Well, he's a man. He's a wingman, but he's a thing man too. So never mind.
I'm either thinking it was Wingman or what was the other guy? Warhawk?
Warhawk, yeah, he was wherever everybody was there. I mean, it was some of the group flights that we had there, and we had like at least 30 to 50 people in the group flight. I mean, it was really interesting.
Oh, it was insane, especially on Friday nights. We would have flights almost every night of the week, but on Friday night, man, it was insane. We would get everybody in here.
We might have 35 people on average.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why we used to have moderators and stuff, just because it would get out of control.
What happened to Longhorn?
I haven't seen Longhorn tonight. I don't know if he's on the road or not. He did say something about wanting to take a trip, but I thought he was talking about next weekend for the 4th of July, but maybe it was this weekend. He said,
I think it was this weekend.
You think it was this weekend?
Yeah, he said he's going to be gone Thursday through the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right on. I wasn't sure if it was the 4th of July thing or not. He said he was going camping with a bunch of friends and something like that. Big group of people were going to meet. Sounds fun. Yeah, Coast, I was just going back through some of my old videos the other day too, and I came across one of your C-130 flights that you hosted. And not the C-130 flight, but the C-47. And yeah, that was real nice. There was a flight in Brazil that you hosted with the Goonie Birds, and it was a good time.
I was just going through the old flights video for the C-46, where we did the Hawaii thing.
Oh yeah,
And
we were all doing tricks with it and stuff.
We were doing everything in the world. We flew every air base on the Big Island.
I remember one of the things that we did is we parked on the runway with two of those C-46s parked on the runway, wingtip to wingtip, and we were seeing who could fly a Mustang underneath the wings. And there was a couple people that managed to do it quite well. Actually, a couple of them did it very well. I didn't think it was possible. And then we go back and it's like, man, I'd watch that footage in slow-mo, and it's like, sure shit. They made it as slick as could be underneath the wings, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I could see a lot of stuff there where things were the people there really knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was back in the day when even Kalo would fly with us once in a while. That's been a while. For those of you that don't know, Kalo is actually the owner of our website, msflights.net, which I've always thought is a wonderful domain name, msflights.net. I mean, it's pretty close to Microsoft Flights. And we were able to snag that domain name. But he's actually the guy that owns it, Kalo. He doesn't show up very often, but he still maintains the website, and he still maintains the Discord and everything like that. So
according to theory, MS stands for multiplayer simulations.
Right. Well, that was the story, in case anybody asked. In case anybody tried to sue him, that was the story.
Well, that's what it meant. Of course it did. We're online, right?
Of course.
Seems plausible.
Of course, back at the time that he made that MS Flights domain, we were playing that game called MS Flight without the S on the end. So it was even better. And that drew a lot of people to our website.
Yeah, everybody mistakes us for somebody important.
Alright guys, we are 34 miles out from our next stop. The good news is I do believe this airport has an ILS frequency. Let me check that out. When we get there, count on landing on runway 06, guys. Runway 06 is huge, 8,600 foot of asphalt. We only have an elevation of around 300 feet, so that's fine. But, write this down. We have an ILS frequency as 110.15. 110.15. That'll get us to runway 6 when we get to Lima, India, Romeo, November. Let's see here. The heading for runway 05 is 054 degrees magnetic. 54 degrees magnetic for runway 5.
Okay.
For those who want to know what magnetic means, it means it follows what the magnetic lines of the Earth.
Yep. Actually, for each airport, they always, or for the runways, they always give you, or at least in this game, they give you both the true heading and the magnetic heading. I always go by the magnetic heading because that's closer to, what the instruments see.
Yeah, and frankly, there are variations in the Earth's magnetic field, so you have to get it for every.
It's changing more and more all the time, yeah. Well, that's why you'll run into these runways too. Sometimes it'll be like a runway 5, but it's at a heading of like 070. It's like that's way off. That's nowhere near 5, But over the years, it changes,
Is that a dirty windscreen you got?
Yeah, did you notice that? I was complaining. Well, not complaining, but I was pointing that out. Look at all the bugs on my own.
Yeah, he was. He was complaining about it. How
You
dirty
should have
what you
heard me
can't
belly again.
see.
I can't even see nothing through this buggy windscreen.
Well, the reason I ask is I don't generally clean my screen, so I was wondering if somebody somehow my screen got dirty.
No, and it's
I
weird.
put my first finger up,
It gets dirtier the more you fly. When we took off, it was perfectly clear, and now there's bugs everywhere on it. I'm guessing that probably the fuselage itself gets slightly dirtier as you fly. I don't know. I would imagine they wouldn't just go through the trouble of making the windows get dirtier. Why not do all the textures?
So this aircraft doesn't have gear that. Oh, you're landing? Okay,
No, they're fixed gear coming down, so you can't forget to put them out at least. And yeah, this is quite a nice aircraft. I think you would like this one, Coast. This is the first group flight we've done in it, but like Bob likes to say, this is a Cadillac. It is a really nice high-tech turbo bird. Got that glass cockpit going on. Everything is where you expect it to be, you know. Actually, one of the things I like about it is everything's in front of you. Everything. There's nothing off to the side of your armrest. You don't have an overhead panel. You know, it's easy to find everything. You don't have to look over your right shoulder to find the fuel pump or something. It's all right here. It's pretty nice.
But it don't have a windshield wiper system.
It does not.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I do have this
co-pilot.
co-pilot.
Right?
Maybe I can tell my co-pilot to climb out there with a rag. And if something happens to him, oh well. Sorry, buddy.
You know, that'd be something nice you could do when you get on the ground, you know, when you get out of the airplane to clean your windows. That'd be nice.
Yeah. You know, actually, it would be nice if you could, when you're walking around, if that was one of the options. So I think the only option you have is to just reload back into the airport and you'll be clean again. Like I said, none of these bug spots were on here when we took off. It just keeps adding more and more. It looks cool, but it's definitely noticeable. Some aircrafts it shows up a lot more than others. This is one of them where it's really pronounced.
Yeah, I was watching back in the old days. We also flew that missing man formation too with the P-51s. Remember that?
I do remember that. It was a good time too. Well, I'm going to begin bringing this bird down to about 3,000 feet here. We've got about 4,000 feet to lose, so here we go. Coming in. We're just under 20 miles out, so it's about time. We need to loosen altitude. Reminder, we're coming in runway, was it 5 or 6? I think it's 5.
06.
06.
5-4 magnetic.
So I'm going to go ahead and jog a few degrees off to the right over here. That should get us lined up for runway 6 by the time we get there. Lazerbolt is turning to a heading of about 140.
Yeah, we're going over to my daughter's house tomorrow for a birthday for her goldfish.
Birthday for the goldfish. How old is the goldfish?
10.
10 years old. Right on, goldfish. You go.
Well, we got the goldfish when we used to go when my granddaughter was born, and it's her buddy. So she came back one day, and we finally told her that he wasn't born on the same day you were born. He was born a couple weeks later or something, whatever. So she got real smart, and she says, "I have my birthday." But we haven't given a birthday for Leslie's his name. We haven't given Leslie a birthday, and we're going to have to give him a birthday, his own. That's tomorrow.
Brilliant. You can't argue
What
with
a
that kind
kid.
of logic.
Leave your fishing pole at home now, Coast.
No problem with that one.
That thing ain't getting big, is it?
Nope, it stayed the same size. We had it in a 2-gallon tank, or
Okay.
a thing here. We didn't figure it would live that long, so we said we'll put it in one of those 2-gallon small things and just clean it out every week or every week. Well, we kept it for till she was like 5. Okay, cleaning it and getting it done, and it was still alive. We were wondering when it was going to die. Frankly, it kept going. So we decided when she finally stopped coming to us that we were going to give it to. They had tried to keep fish at their house, and every time they tried to keep fish, they all died. Okay, over at their house. So they got all these tropical fish and everything else. They got this tropical fish set up and everything. It was beautiful. And so we said, okay, well, why don't you just take our goldfish over there? So they took the goldfish and they put it in this wonderful. It was like it was like being at the the Ritz or whatever they call it these days. And he had a great place, and he survived there in that big tank, never changed his size.
Well, good for him. Right on. 10 years. That's a pretty good run for goldfish.
I'd say, yeah. As you remember, I think you have to select that nav 1 on your panel there, down by that first glass panel.
Oh, for an
row of
ILS approach?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah,
when
I'm
you
not
change your CD, when you change your CDI to lock 1, look, you also have to have it in nav 1 mode.
right on. I'm actually not doing an ILS approach, but that will come in handy one of these days when I do.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try, see what happens.
Well, I bet it's going to work just fine. You know this bird pretty well. Six and a half miles out. Lazerbolt is turning final for runway 6. It's a pretty nice looking place. I wonder what this is. This looks like a heck of a good place to go on vacation. Nice west coast sunset and everything. This place actually does have a little downtown area with some skyscrapers and stuff.
The terrain looks a little bit like Hawaii, doesn't it?
It kind of does. That looks like a volcanic mountain behind him and everything. Coast, we were talking earlier. Didn't you go on vacation like a year ago to Europe? And didn't you go to Italy?
Not Italy. We went down to Germany and to Hungary and to Austria. You know,
All right.
stuff where all the stuff for Travis was.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we went down to Danube, one of those Danube trips.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I would love to go back to Germany now that I'm an adult. I spent 3 or 4 years there when I was about 6 years old, 7 years old, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I'd like to go back now as an adult and check it out.
I like
Of course,
the
you
food.
know, when I was young, I didn't check out stuff like Oktoberfest and all that, you know. still
Yeah,
remember the language.
yeah, I have to brush up on my. I haven't spoke German in 25 years.
You know what they say, how they claim that kids pick up languages really quickly, and I'm here to tell you that's absolutely true, without a doubt. Especially, like I said, when we lived in Germany, my dad was an army officer. He was a helicopter pilot, and by that time, he was basically an instructor. And he had a decent rank, so we didn't have to live on base. We lived off the base, and so we lived like right in the middle of a German community. Our landlords were German. All the kids I played with was German. I went to an American school. I got bussed into the base to go to the American school every day. But all my friends outside of school were all these little German kids. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I was speaking pretty damn good. I was blowing my parents away, especially my mom, who is German. She couldn't believe it one day when I walked in and started talking German to her. She just was like blown away. But it's true. Kids pick it up in a hurry.
Yeah, that's right. Well, my grandmother was German. Both sets of grandparents were German, and the guy 2 doors down from where I grew up spoke German.
We were exposed to a lot of it.
Plus, I took it in school.
I forgot to mention that we are on our penultimate stop for the evening, gentlemen. When you get down, we're going to back taxi to runway 6. We're going to take a 10-minute break. That'll give us a chance to use the restroom, grab a snack, maybe grab a drink or a cocktail if you'd like, and we'll be back up in the air in 10 minutes. If anybody would like to join us, we would really encourage you to. We're pretty easy to get along with crew around here, and you can get the game for free basically on Xbox GamePass. That's a good way to do it. You can fly with us, and also you can get the information in the description of the video here in YouTube. You can find the description down below, and it has the airports we're going to and what airplanes we're flying. And yeah, it's pretty casual around here. We're easy to get along with. And if you'd like to join us, we would love to have you. And also, don't forget, like and subscribe and hit that bell and all that other jazz. Wingnut, are you on that the ILS approach?
Nah, it didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it.
I'm doing a visual and it caught that.
Wingnut looks a little high, doesn't he?
That's why I was wondering if he was on the glide slope or above it. Looking much better now. Better be ready on those reverse thrusters though, you're going pretty fast. That was pretty nice, buddy. You only bounced once.
It's an infield hit.
Got control freak coming in with his float plane. It just looks like a float plane to us. It's not actually. That was smooth as silk and right on that number, buddy. Perfect. Alright guys, let's call this 20 after the hour, and at 10 to the hour, we're in the air. We're not on the runway, we're in the air at 10 to the hour. So use this time, grab a drink or a snack, and do what you need to do, and we're going to get on out of here.
Copy that. See you then.
Wingnut's as fast on the ground as he is in the air.
Yeah, I am impressed with this new bird. I like it a lot. This is going to be a very nice addition to our rotation here. For as fancy as this aircraft is, though, it doesn't have a bathroom. With all these seats, you would think it'd have something. Maybe they have a bucket around here.
How's your weather been there, Laser?
It's been great. It really has. I can't complain. I think right now the weather's like 72 degrees, which is just perfect. Doesn't need to be any hotter than that.
Yeah,
How about you?
Last 3 days, last day has been over 85.
Oh, yeah, we're not getting that hot
It's
yet.
been in the low. We've been flirting with the real feel of close to 100.
We've had quite a bit of rain already, too. I mean, it's rained at least a little tiny bit almost every day in the last week or so.
For us, it's been a rainy spring, summer. Everything around here is really, really green. It's,
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a great.
Keeping it.
It's going to be a great summer around here. It looks like everything's very nice and green, ready to go. Gentlemen,
Usually during
we're,
summer it slows down.
Sorry, Coast. What was that?
Go. Usually during the summer we have everything sort of slows down for the summer to get a little hotter, but so far everything's growing like crazy.
Yeah, we don't hit 80 degrees too often, but when it does, it feels pretty hot around here. It's nice and humid on Lake Michigan. Gentlemen, we're taking off in about 3 minutes, so make your preparations. We're going to be out of here in 3 minutes. Why don't we go ahead and climb back up to 7,000 feet like last time? That was comfortable. I'll try to go a little bit slower to try to keep everybody together. I hate it when we're 3 miles apart from each other. See, we do have some hills just on the other side of this runway, though, so make sure you do plenty of climbing before you hit them. We will be taking a pretty sharp right-hand turn out of here, though, so you might not have to worry about those hills at all. You know what? I may have made a mistake on this last airport. Our Lima India Yankee Zulu at Campo de Volvo Avio Lao, well, it is a 400 feet runway. 400 foot of grass. I don't think we're going to make it. I can't believe I chose that as our final stop, but we'll never make it there.
Helicopters. Change to helicopters.
Yeah, it might be something nearby then.
Right. Well, you know, I'm almost considering trying it just because we can probably land that short. Maybe. But we'll never get out of there. But we don't need to get out of there. It's our last stop. Well, we got less than a minute. We're going to be up in the air. Once we're in the air, that'll give me plenty of time to look for an alternate runway to land on. We'll find another airport that's close by. There's a bunch of airports around here, so we're bound to find something that's a little bigger than a 490-foot grass. It's weird though, because it says it wants me to come in on runway 9, but there is no runway 9. Wait, hold on. I must have had something clicked on the wrong thing, because the actual airport we're going to is Lima, India, Mike Delta.
Yeah, Mike Delta. I was just
Which does
09.
It does have a 9.
But it's not short.
No,
Yeah,
no, we got
6,000.
6,000 feet. Okay, let's do that. We're going to continue on plan and do what the plan says. We got a 6,200 feet of asphalt at the actual airport, the Aviosuperficie Scalea. That's what we're doing. Anyway, it's about time to take off, boys, so let's get these birds in the air. Lazerbolt is rolling.
Rolling.
Yeah, something wasn't adding up there. I'm like, there's no way I would have picked this runway that only has a 400-foot. There's no way I would have chose that.
I was trying to decide how to tell
Big
you.
airplane.
Just say, hey, stupid, you got it wrong again.
Just say oops. Say oops.
Y'all didn't see that big passenger jet in front of us on the runway?
Mm-mm, I didn't have nothing like that.
No, me neither.
You know what I haven't seen in a long time is animals. Not that there'd be animals here so much, but I haven't seen animals in quite a while. Of course, we're flying around the United States for the last month or so, and there's not a whole lot of them there, unless you go to Yellowstone and stuff like that. It's not like flying around Africa and Australia where they're all over the runway. Did I mention we're climbing up to 7,000 again?
Yes, you did.
You did.
Yeah, you got a airport. That's a. I don't know what you got that 400. There's an 8,615 foot runway there, near there.
Yeah,
This
I read off
little
the,
lump in the ground that.
Yeah, I read the
This
wrong
little lump in the
information.
ground that I'm going by right now is Mount Vesuvius.
Oh, it is. It sure looks like a volcano. That is for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
bad day
Take a
around here a
look.
few thousand years ago, wasn't it? A bad couple of days, a bad couple of years.
I knew that sounded familiar.
Mm-hmm. 109.5 ILS.
There is no
Runway
ILS at the
24.
airport we're heading to, Coast. Sorry about that, but no. What happened there, Coast, is I read the wrong airport. The actual airport we're going to is not the one that I said. So yeah, we're still heading to the regular airport we're supposed to. And there is no
I see right
ILS at runway 9er. There might be for 27.
No, there isn't. No LILS there at all.
Yeah, at least we have a 6,000 foot runway instead of that incorrect 400 footer that I mentioned. I was wrong about that, Coast. I was wrong. Boy, look at that. Mount Vesuvius. It's pretty cool looking. You can see the bowl and everything. A lot of times you can't in the game. It just kind of is capped off. Yeah, we got some pretty tall peaks we're going to be going over here in a minute too. I'm hoping 7,000 is enough. I'm pretty sure it is, but not by much. Got any interesting wildlife in your backyard yet this year, Coast? Saw those hummingbird pictures you had. Those were really nice. You had anything else back there?
Yeah. Just deer. That's deer is like a robin now, you know.
They're just there. You can count on it.
They're there all the time.
Getting ready to level out here at 7,000. Hoping if I get up in those clouds, they'll wash my window a little.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see if it had any effect. I still can't believe I heard sirens and brakes and tires squealing back there at the...
That's kind of funny. I wonder if it's like that all the way around town or just in that one spot, you know? I'm guessing this bird goes really good up in the mountains and stuff, being as powerful as it is. I got just a tiny sliver of a moon up there. Yeah, one of the things I did in my FSX version of the flight simulator way back in the day is I replaced all the moon textures with Death Star textures. So when the moon came up, it looked just like the Death Star. It was pretty cool. I was really into that. It was kind of easy too. I don't know if it'd be that easy for this one, but it was pretty easy. I just had to have like 8 or 9 different pictures of the Death Star that were all in different phases of the moon, because every time the moon's in a different phase in the game, it just show you a different picture.
I stuck a picture of that monument where I was on the drone and heard all the ambulance or the sirens and stuff. Put a picture there in the Discord.
Oh yeah, ooh, that's nice. I like all this stuff. Boy, that looks like a photograph.
I got close.
Oh, it's very nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got all the statues and everything. I love the horses on the top. Yeah, that is very cool. You know, I mean, look at all the work that they put into this, and I mean, what a infinitesimally small percentage of the people who own this game are going to see this. It's such a lower than 1% chance that anybody's going to actually see this, and they still put the work into it, and I love that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I like pausing and getting in a drone and going down to look at some of the stuff like that.
Yeah, check it
Get a
out
good
closer
shot of
than
it.
you would normally never get this close, you know, unless you're walking around. That's beautiful. I like that.
Coming right up on your tail now, later.
Oh, there you are. Hi, buddy. Well, that's better. I don't feel all alone up here. Ooh, Coast, picture of a turkey vulture, huh? Where'd you find that?
Flying over the house. Flew right over the house. I don't know what it is. I must be on a flyway for him or something.
Another crystal clear picture, my friend. You got a good eye and a good camera.
Yeah, you know, you look at, well, yeah, it's a good camera, but you look at these things and they fly so slow. You know, that's what I like about them, and they sort of soar. They're not like some of the other birds that like to, you know,
Right.
dart all over the place. You can almost predict where they're going to be. So if they're flying over you, you got a good shot of them because they got to put their wings out to catch the thermals.
So the wingspan on that is massive.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, we get these weird like cranes around here. They're weird looking. They're really big. First time I saw one, it was way bigger than I expected anything around here to be. It looked like a pterodactyl. It has the weird long neck and the big long belly. It looked like a pterodactyl. I'm like, holy shit, what is that? And it's like, that's just a crane or a stork or whatever hell kind of bird it is.
Now you don't. I have a lot of pictures of great. I get a lot of pictures of lots of old ones. They haven't been doing it in years. But we used to overfly with these great blue herons all the time, and they have at least a 7-foot wingspan.
Those are cool looking. I like those. I've seen those quite a bit.
Wow, your airplane is fading in and out in front of me, Laser.
Mine is? Is it still at the moment fading in and out, or it just comes and goes? I wonder if that had anything to do with me changing the focus of the game. Like I said, I pulled up my web browser so I could check out those pictures.
Yeah, it's like your whole airplane and name tag just blinking in and out, in and out.
Oh, right now it is. Huh, weird.
I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's... Oh, now it's steady. Now you're steady. I don't know. Maybe I was too close to you or something. I don't know.
I doubt that. We both turned that setting off to where that matters. But yeah, I don't like that. I tell you what, though, this game always finds a new way to surprise you. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, I saw it too, so it's not you, Wingnut.
Oh, okay. Well, good deal.
Right on. Oh, you guys look fine. I haven't seen any of you blink in and out or look weird or do anything strange.
Except for the pontoons, right?
Except for the
Right.
except for being the wrong aircraft entirely over there.
I see the airplane is right, but it's
Mhm.
got floats on it. That's only...
It even tells me that it has floats, the C208 with floats. So it looks like the name tag says. You know, that could be just simply they had something wrong in the configuration file of it, you know, where they named it the wrong thing and didn't notice that if you switch to that livery, it'll give you the wrong thing.
I'm worried that I may have some kind of corruption in the data that's stored in the cloud. There's no way to get rid of that.
Related to the issue you had that made you reinstall in the first place.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I would be extra worried if whatever the hell made everything so weird that you had to reinstall, if that just happened again. You know what I mean? If after a couple flights all of a sudden everything's back to goofy again, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, the only bad thing, I mean, there was a couple of anomalous things that were different, you know, the settings were different, and, you know, it reset my livery and stuff like that, and that's easy to fix, but the weird thing was the stuttering when I was in a big group flight. That made the game, the sim, unusable.
Yeah, that's unplayable when it gets that bad. I haven't seen nothing.
Did anybody else have that issue?
Not that I know of. I've never heard of anybody just having it happen when they're in a large group fly-in. I'm in a fly-in right now with 2 people and it's working fine, so I'm not sure what the limit is.
Yeah, very weird. I've seen weird stuttering issues like that before, but it was all in the 2020 sim. I haven't seen nothing like that in the new one.
Oh, I encountered that before.
My 2020 sim's solid as a rock. Nothing wrong with it at all. It runs great. And this one was pretty good too for a long time until I had this one problem.
Well, I hope the next update will fix some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's due to a couple weeks probably. SU-3.
There's another one. Oh, something I see.
Ooh, let me see.
Yeah,
This
it's a good
looks
shot,
nice.
Dragonfly.
Oh, that's dope, dude. I love that. Oh, it looks like he's got jewelry on. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Seems like I heard not too long ago that dragonflies are the world's most successful predator, in the fact that like 99% of the things that they go after, they get. Nothing gets away from them. If they're going after it, they're going to get it.
They're both they're predators underwater when the larvae state and in the air. They go after stuff in water where they are as larvae stage, and when they finally break out into the flying form, they catch flies like crazy.
Well, all
can
that
see it
jazz on
doing
their
that all
back there, that looks like crystals or something. That's pretty cool looking. Yeah, I love that. Great pick, dude.
I got thousands of them.
That also in your backyard?
Well, that was down the street. That was in a small park. That's within walking distance. That's like 4 blocks from the house.
Very cool.
We actually have a small waterfall that's in our town, and this is right around that area.
Well, we're about 44 miles out, and another maybe 10 miles or so. I'm going to start bringing her down. Our airport is relatively sea level, so I'm going to bring it down to about 3,000, but not quite yet. Hey, I see Hog Dog for Life just fired up Ark Asylum there. Remember that name, don't you, Coast? Hog Dog? Of course you do.
Yeah, I know what not to say. Okay.
No, Hog Dog is a unique fella. He used to fly with us. He used to be actually one of the founding members of our community, and he was one of the officers around here for a long time. And yeah, he's a great guy. I wish he would hang out with us more often. You know, I gotta say though, he's one of those guys that the only time he ever shows up is to complain that there's nobody joining our community anymore. There's nobody hanging out with our community. What's going on? Our community completely fell apart and blah blah blah. And I just want to tell him, it's like, well, dude, you don't hang around. If you hung around and flew with us, maybe things, you know what I mean? You're not helping. All you need to do is participate a little bit. You know, if more people participated, we would have a better community, you know, instead of just coming in here every couple months to complain about how it fell apart. It's like, well, how about join us instead? That's all I'm going to say about that.
I accidentally hit my arm fire bottle, and my master caution came on, and now I've got a warning that my fire bottles are low.
Oh no, you emptied them out.
I don't know what happened. My engines are running okay. I accidentally hit that button up there on the dash.
Was that maybe the fire suppression stuff that it sprays out, and now they're empty?
Could be.
Hopefully you don't need it. Alrighty, I'm going to slowly begin my descent. I don't want to hit that mountain that's in front of us. Well, we're going to be over the bay here pretty soon, so we can go down as far as we want. So I'm going to bring it down to 3,000. Reminder, we are inbound for runway 9er. As long as we're at it, I'm going to jog to the right just a little bit. I'm going to turn to a heading of 150. 150. I hope this is a lit runway. It's getting pretty dark in my world. you look across the bay there, you can see that large city all along the beach. That is the area we're going to be landing in. Right on, Bob. Hanging with me even in a descent. That is not easy to do. Well, Coast, look at that windshield now, buddy. I wonder what the cabin looks like when it's dark.
It's a pretty good splatter of bugs on mine too.
It is a nice looking effect with all the bug splatter there. If a little excessive, it does look pretty cool. Just like you said though, it's like sure is a lot of bugs up there at 7,000 feet.
Right.
You know, there is a good chance next week we're just going to take off out of the same airport we're getting ready to land at right now and just continue flying south down the coast. We might end up in Greece, or we might just kind of swing around the boot and check out the east coast of Italy instead of the west coast, which we're at right now. So yeah, got lots of possibilities. This airplane gives us a lot of possibilities of places we could land at. Doesn't have to be huge or nothing.
I'm going to put a picture in the thing here. I'm going to delete it. I took in 2010. If I can get it to you.
2010. You
Hold
said
on,
you
it's
want
a
me to
real good one.
delete it?
I'll delete it. Yeah, I'll eventually delete
Okay.
it, but it's interesting.
Do you mind if I show it on the stream?
No problem. Hold on, wait till I get going here.
I don't want you to give up, you know, military secrets or something, but cool, man. Well, guys, we're just under 18 miles to the runway. You should be able to see it here before too long. We're landing runway 9er. I do believe I see where the runway is going to be. I can't tell if it's lit, but everything around it's lit, so it's just a black stripe. I can see clearly. I was checking out that other bird that Longhorn flew last week. It was another kind of Cessna. It was a little high-tech kind of little. So you remember that one he was in last week. I forget what it was called, but I checked that out too. I gotta say I didn't care for that very much. I didn't care for it at all. He kept saying also that it had these crazy speeds, and I don't know. It didn't seem all that fast and powerful to me. I could barely get it to 160.
Yeah, it's a small airplane too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't care much for it. It was okay at best. We have so many airplanes to pick from. Why pick one that's just okay? This one here, I wouldn't mind flying this a little bit more. What do you guys think? Would you be into flying this a couple more times?
Oh, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I like the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do too. I'd like to get a little
into
more
it.
familiar with this thing and get a little more familiar with the startup procedure and the autopilot and stuff. This is a nice bird.
I'll try to set one up this week, and hopefully next week I won't have pontoons on it.
Yeah, hopefully during the week you might be able to figure out what's the root of the problem going on with your sim.
Right now, it seems like the only problem is that if I get into a fly-in with more than a dozen people, I'm going to have stutters that make the sim unusable. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the problem.
And hopefully that was a one-time thing. I don't know if you tried it a second time, but
Here's I got it in here finally. Here it is.
cool. You mind if I show that on the stream? That's cool.
That's a heritage flight from 2010.
Oh, that's going way back. That is a nice screenshot, buddy. Do you know who those two people are? One of them's you, right?
Oh, not flying. That's a real air. That's real aircraft.
Oh, those are real aircraft. Oh, I thought that was the sim. Wow, look at that.
That's not. That's real aircraft. I forget the name of the guy flying.
Okay, now that I'm looking a little closer, of course. Yeah, very nice.
Guy that's flying the P-51 is a special pilot. He was the chief demo pilot for the F-14. I forget what his name was.
For a second, I thought instead of WD, it said 4D. Of course, 4D would be in that big jet. 4D wouldn't be in that.
Yeah, that's an F-15.
Very nice. Yeah, I like that. Where'd you say you got that?
I got that at an air show.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best air show flight that I pretty much got. Pretty out of the deal.
Well, this wasn't Oshkosh, was it?
Local, Geneseo.
Very cool. Love that. Well, I better pay attention here. We're coming up on that runway real quick.
Yeah, I got eyes on it. It looks like it's running right along a river.
Right on. I'm right behind you.
when I look at that picture, I see how close they fly. They really fly close, don't they?
That's impressive, seeing that little Spitfire hanging out with that jet.
If you look in closely on on the original picture, you can actually see the faces of the pilots in the F-15.
Yeah, I saw that. Even in the 15, you could see the front end, the back co-pilot, and everything going on. Very cool. Alrighty, at least I can't forget my landing gear. They're already down.
The benefits of fixed gear.
Okay, I got the guy that flew that. It's a guy named Dale Snodgrass. He's a very well-known pilot.
Right on. It's a good place to show up at the that air show if this guy's going to be there, huh?
Well, he's gone now. He died in 21.
Control freak, I'm coming right over top of you almost. I can't slow up anymore.
I was going to say, I'm having trouble being this slow as well. I don't want to fall out of the sky.
Feel free.
I'm going to land right behind you, Wingnut. Reverse thrusters, don't fail me now. Oh, hell yeah, there's no problem at all. Alright, cool. I think that was about the shortest 1-2-3 landing in history right there. All three of our wheels touched down within a half a minute of each other. Probably less than that.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought I was doing pretty good there up until about a half mile from the runway, and then it was like, I cannot stay behind you anymore. I apologize. That thing must have a lower VTOL than what we got, or not a VTOL, but a lower VREF. Not by much, but it's enough. Boy, it's some rough road once you get off the runway here.
Been kicking up some dust too.
Alrighty, Bob, find a place for us to park, and yeah, we'll shut these birds down. That was a fun flight. I enjoyed that. Starting out, checking out Rome was pretty impressive. I thought that was pretty neat. A lot of stuff to see. I think I missed a whole bunch of it. Well, alrighty, gentlemen. Good beans. We made it here safe and sound. We didn't lose anybody and had a good time. Saw some cool stuff. I'm going to go ahead and shut the stream down now at this time. But if anybody would like to join us, you know how to do it. Grab the game off of GamePass. Grab the flight details off of the description of the video. And we're here every Friday night. We've been doing it for 14 years, and we're not going to stop now. So please join us. We would love to have you. Like and subscribe to the videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.